Hola, hola amigos, bienvenidos a Call of Juarez. Vamos a terminar, o al menos intentarlo. Vale, no creo que nos quede mucho, creo que son 9 capítulos y creo que vamos por el 4. Así que supongo que en 2 horitas no lo pasamos, así que vamos a darle caña, ¿vale? Vamos a darle caña, vamos a acabar.
I knew I needed resources if I was going to track down Roscoe Bob Bryant, and hunting Plumber looked like a good way to get rich quick. As a local vigilantes exposed him as the leader of the bandits, and put a generous
son
price
misiones
on
más
his
o menos
head.
cortitas, pues.
Plumber rallied his gang to plunder one last gold mine before making their escape. And that's where I thought I'd find him.
Close to all these goddamn barrels of gunpowder.
Why would you be nervous? No one has the cojones to come after us.
As my late father pointed out to me more than once, God made men, but Samuel Colt made them equal.
Yo sigo con el problema de... Oye, que he apretado la... He apretado la A para esquivar. Sigo con el problema de la detención de las balas en este juego. Madre mía, te pones aquí y no puedes ni apuntar.
I knew that dynamite
dinamita.
wasn't mine, so I decided the polite thing would be to return it.
¿Cómo se lanzaba la dinamita? Con la G, ¿no? Sí, con la G.
It was the biggest gold rush since Sutter's Mill in '48. Unfortunately, prospectors weren't the only ones drawn to those riches.
Vale, le puedes disparar a la dinamita en el aire.
There were thieves, killers, robbing travelers, and hijacking gold shipments.
Sube ahí, por Dios.
Like those that ran with Plumber. Some
Acordémonos
just
de que estoy
regular
jugando en
folks I
difícil,
knew
¿eh?
from town, drawn by greed and easy pickings. Charlie Crow, the blacksmith.
Es decir, en teoría puedes moverte por donde quieras.
Sam and Jeremiah Barber, butchers.
Joder, entre las 200 balas que te pegan, que no sé dónde están, y la mierda de la dinamita, que yo he ido para atrás y he saltado. Y se ha quedado pillado en toda la roca. Y el problema es que no los veo. V.
Do you know who we are?
Ordinary citizens who lived a double life.
Y el problema simplemente es que no los veo.
Murdering their neighbors. Of course, the rest were veterans of the Civil War. Stone-cold killers trained on the bloody fields of Shiloh and
A ver, que más o menos les mato de un disparo a la cabeza, pero...
Plummer had a lot of men on his payroll. A hell of a lot. That son of a bitch pretended to protect the public with one hand while stealing them blind with the other. He set up a defensive perimeter which I had no idea how to breach. Dangerous, desperate individuals. I was outnumbered and in way over my head, but I was too damn stubborn and stupid to realize.
Tienes que disparar muy en la cabeza casi
They
para
must have
matarlos de
thought
una,
I
¿eh?
was touched. Or had some
En
kind
esta
of death
dificultad.
wish. I thought I was some kind of hero.
What incarnation?
¿Dónde está? No, es que no lo veía. Yo creo que nos lo podemos pasar. Más o menos en 2 horitas nos lo podemos pasar este juego.
I had something I needed to
Creo,
figure out. I had a few ideas on how to get into that mine, but once I made my decision, I knew there was no turning back. So my first thought was to enter the nearest mine portal. I saw an entrance. Made sense.
Bastante sutil.
It was the quickest way in, but that also made it more dangerous, as there would undoubtedly be enemy pickets posted along the way.
Tienen buena puntería los cabrones, revólver grabado. Hombre, prefiero el fusil.
Besides, once you enter a mine like that, it's easy to get all turned around. And that confusion maze and corridors wouldn't even be the worst of it. Some of those shafts could be as deep as hell.
Vamos a ir despacio, que voy en difícil.
A single stumble or misstep can easily end in a deadly plunge to oblivion.
Ahí va a decir, ¿por qué no salta? Vale, ahí no me va a dejar subir. Prácticamente allá arriba ya no me va a dejar subir.
Quick reflexes often make up for a lack of common sense.
Ah, no lo he visto. Yo de repente me he puesto, ¿por qué me muevo despacio? Estoy frío, pero ahora mismo.
I would just need to be careful not to blow myself to Kingdom Come.
Le he disparado a la cabeza, pero venga, vale, ok.
Surprise! You must be about out of bullets.
Tengo una idea. Toma. Ah, que me mato igualmente.
I will drop you down a mine shaft.
Y me estás diciendo que estos pavos no le dan a la pólvora. Qué falso, ¿no?
One wrong bullet could have turned that mine into a dad-blasted tube.
Vaya. Chico, pero espérate, que no lo sé, que este juego no me lo conozco. Yo que sé qué es lo que va a pasar. Vale, hay que correr, yo no lo sé. ¿Has hecho todo esto en el aire? Oye, me está dando un asco este capítulo.
Instead, I spotted a ladder, way into the mine from the opposite side.
Ah, vale, que tenía que ocurrir eso, vale.
It was a long way around, but that approach seemed more sensible at the time. Of course, being I had a problem with heights, that scaffolding scared the bejesus.
Vale, que tenía que ocurrir, que te tenía que caer la mierda esa en la
Climbing down
cabeza.
that ladder required some caution, because even though I had a younger man's reflexes, no man can dodge a damn bullet while climbing down a rickety ladder.
¿Y ahora?
I needed to make a leap of faith, which ain't easy when you're suspended between heaven and hell.
Un salto hasta allí. Yo,
I was determined not to give up, however. As Sheriff Plummer seemed quite the despicable character. When the vigilantes discovered what the sheriff was up to, people were
es decir, un
outraged.
salto hasta allí lo veo complicado, ¿no?
That 10,000 they put on his head would go a long way to helping me find old Bob. I had made it my mission
un tiro
to
doble.
settle that score come hell or high water. But first, I would have to make a choice. Take the elevator or climb the ladder.
Le he hecho un tiro doble, así que eso está de
Pick
puta
the more
madre.
convenient and more dangerous route.
Esta es la ruta más complicada, no sé yo, Oye, en serio, estoy hasta las mismísimas narices de la gente esta que viene con el Big Follow de las narices, en serio, La gente o los bots o los cojones sean, me da igual, me la sudo. Había alguien más por ahí. No me jodas, que voy a tener que meterme ahí.
Plummer was a mad dog killer, and the people of Nevada City deserved better.
Nevada City? Well, I thought Plummer met his maker in Bannock, Montana.
Qué peligro tiene este
Right,
juego
well,
difícil,
well, he was the sheriff of both places at one time
¿Ya
or
está?
another, but that's
¿Abajo?
neither here nor there.
Ah, por aquí.
The point was, taking him down would save a lot of lives, including my own.
Va a aparecer gente por ahí, ¿no? No me digas más. Este es el Plummer. Henry Plummer, sí. Hay que cargarse a este.
They're gonna bury you in a million pieces! This day is just getting worse and worse for you.
Henry Plummer was clearly unhinged, and I could see right away that this was going to take some doing.
You can shoot, but can you aim?
Bueno, si me va a tirar solamente eso de vez en cuando.
You ain't taking me! I need some help here!
¿Dónde va?
Boys, take this cocksucker out!
En serio, baja gente. Por lo que te digo, bosses que no saben luchar solo. Los típicos bosses que no saben luchar solos, en serio.
They're gonna bury you in a million pieces!
Yo también tengo, toma. Es que es acojonante, tío. O sea, el daño de este juego es acojonante. Joder, macho.
You ain't beefing me.
Catch this, son of a bitch!
Me ha tirado 28.
I'm going all medieval on your ass.
Vale.
So that's how Henry Plummer died. Him and his crew were worth their weight in gold.
Jesús.
And now, I was officially a bounty hunter.
Está una barbaridad, ¿eh? No puedo bajar la dificultad. Prefiero bajarla a fácil y pasármelo lo más rápido posible.
So, did you finally go after that Bob feller?
Well, I heard word he was in Kansas with John Wesley Hardin. So that's where I went.
Where in Kansas?
Abilene. Why do you ask, Ben?
No reason.
Was Hardin as fast as Ringo?
Ringo was fast, but John Wesley was as fast as the devil himself. Hell, he killed his first man at 15. From that day forward, he had a price on his head and wouldn't back down for nobody, not even Wild Bill Hickok himself.
Manos rápidas o manos muertas. Vale. Qué peligro tiene esto. Vale, ¿puedo bajar la dificultad?
I dodged death many a time, and that night in Abilene was no different.
Vale, un segundo. ¿Puedo bajar la dificultad simplemente por tardar menos? ¿Normal o difícil? Normal. Simplemente para no tardar 200 horas.
And collecting the bounty on John Wesley.
I thought the Texas Rangers got hard.
Al menos así puedo aguantar un par más de balas. Eso es a lo
That's
que
what
quiero
they
llegar.
want you
Simplemente.
to believe. It was colder a witch's tit and a brass bra that night as I fought my way past his loyal compadres
Caja, ¿no? ¿Qué ha pasado?
to the very same saloon we're sitting in today. Look around and imagine this place painted in blood. Hardin was waiting for me, and
¿Un duelo?
wait, I'm jumping the gun here. Let me back up and give you some background on this sumbitch. He deserves that much. Don't you think so, Ben? John Wesley Hardin was a killer. By the end, he confessed to taking the lives of 42 men.
Vaya
He was a
rayada de ahora
bona
voy, ahora
fide folk
vuelvo,
hero
ahora
by
me voy.
then, and had amassed a gang of armed miscreants and other assorted thugs.
Son inmortal.
He and his men set up camp outside of town, and I was hoping Bob was among them.
Vale, la única diferencia
They didn't ask why I was there.
es que en difícil te aciertan todas las balas.
They knew. I had to spill a lot of blood to find out Hardin wasn't in that camp. He was carousing in town with his closest friends. Hardin's boys apparently didn't want me to reach the bull's head. Some were hightailing it into town to inform their jefe of my unwelcome presence.
Tell Hardin someone's coming for
Ya está, es la única diferencia, ¿eh?
Stop that sumbitch!
¿Dónde está?
Let the boys know we got another law dog.
I wondered if Bob was among them. And
A
I
ver, que
steeled
está guapo el
myself
juego
for
y todo lo
the
que tú
fight
quieras,
ahead.
pero
For as good as I was, deep down I wondered if John Wesley
en
wasn't
difícil,
just
en difícil no es que sea difícil, es que te aciertan todas las putas balas.
Before I could test my mettle against Hardin, however, I would first need to dispatch his cadre of hired killers. Most of these degenerates were beyond redemption, but John Wesley might have been a different story.
Que no sé desde dónde me disparan. Porque se me pone toda la pantalla así. Entonces, por mucho que gire, si se me pone la pantalla, media pantalla roja, no sé dónde. No sé dónde está la peña. Luego yo voy con mi rifle. ¿Por qué cojones me quita mi rifle y me pone las pistolas de mierda?
I didn't learn until later that that night was in fact his birthday celebration.
Madre mía, la detección de la bala, tú. Había uno por aquí, ¿verdad? Loco, le está dando.
I think I already mentioned that I found Hardin in this very saloon. Suffice it to say, nobody there was happy to see me.
¿Dónde está el Cristal?
In fact, I felt a certain hostility.
Menos mal que recarga más rápido ahora, si no.
I was disappointed that neither Bob nor John Wesley were among the dead.
Vale, ¿y ahora?
But that was short-lived. As a moment later, I was facing down the fastest
Pistolero
gun
más
in the
rápido del
West.
oeste. Y me lo voy a tener que cargar, ¿no?
I felt a bolt of adrenaline. Or maybe that was fear. He was well known for his tricks, and I knew I'd need my own if I was ever to defeat him. No, wait. He didn't hit me then.
Si
I'm sure of it.
me ponen la mierda del tutorial ahí, aprieto la tecla y de repente me muero, obviamente es imposible.
That man was faster than greased lightning. But being inebriated as he was, he didn't count his shots. And now, he was at my mercy.
Esto de los duelos, esto es una
So he
putísima
didn't
mierda,
die?
No, I sent him to prison. Years later, after he was free, some restless Avenger took his life. Shot him in the back at a saloon just like this one. Anybody up for another beer? Ben?
Vamos a avanzar, anda. Cuanto antes terminemos este juego, antes lo
Thank you,
desinstalo.
darling. Yeah, some say revenge is a dish best served cold.
So whatever happened to that Bob guy you were after?
Personally, I'd like to hear some of your other adventures. Like, I don't know, did you ever go toe-to-toe with a red man?
Episodio 5. Los nativos. Bueno, en lo que
Yes,
empieza voy a ir a
I did,
echarme algo de
man.
bebida, ahora ven.
I remember once I was after this renegade Apache, Grey Wolf. Strangely enough, revenge was also his primary motivation.
Ya estoy. Dios bendito. A ver, dale.
A bounty was put on Grey Wolf's head, and that's how I came to hunt him in the mountains. Mountains so
Vale,
high
estos son los
they tickled
nativos
the
estos,
nether
¿no?
regions of heaven.
Hace mucho tiempo en una montaña muy lejana, eso es de Star Wars, ¿eh?
Grey Wolf was a Chiricahua Apache medicine man who had led a war party in revenge for a massacre against his
Joder, me
people.
apetece un montón
The US
pasarme el
Army
Red
had
de
attacked his
Redemption 2
tribe during his daughter's
en primer,
secret
o sea, full
sunrise
primera
ceremony.
persona. O sea, que me
And
lo
the slaughter
compraré aquí en
was
PC.
unspeakable. I understood his
Al
anger.
igual que el GTA. El
As
GTA me
there's
gustaría
nothing more
pasármelo
traumatic than seeing
en primera
those you
persona.
love die in a cruel and painful death.
Pero
Right from the
100%, ¿eh?
beginning, I couldn't shake the feeling that Grey Wolf was watching my every move. He led a band of young Apache warriors who wanted retribution and were more than willing to die for him.
Me apetece un montón pasarme el GTA y el Red Dead Redemption 2 en primera persona.
They saw me before I saw them.
Me cambia creo que me cambia la escopeta esta cada vez.
It crossed my mind that maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But now that the shooting has started, there was no backing down.
Joder, de repente me disparan por detrás, miro para atrás, no veo a nadie, me doy la... En serio, le estoy cogiendo asco a este juego, ¿eh? Me lo voy a pasar porque ya lo he empezado, pero... Vamos, una inhumana.
They saw me before I saw them.
Encima aquí me hace gastar la mierda esta. ¿Qué te crees? Que no te he visto. Ahora tengo que tener cuidado porque ahora encima me vienen a atacar, ¿sabes? A melee. Yo no entiendo los disparos. Yo te juro por Dios, que yo no entiendo los disparos. O sea, yo les apunto y no les dan las balas. Pues yo que soy muy malo, una de dos. Dos disparos le he dado a este y no le ha dado ninguno de los dos. No entiendo. No sé, tío, los disparos en este juego... Los disparos en este juego son muy raros.
I admit to having some regrets about going after them the way I did. But then again,
Le tenía apuntado en rojo.
I got a lot of those.
Did you find Grey Wolf?
Not at that moment.
Ya es que directamente ni me voy a molestar en disparar a la cabeza. Si le doy en la cabeza bien, y si no, pues también. Digo que te estoy dando, te he dado 2 balas. O sea, es imposible que no... Vamos.
Don't tell me you went in there.
Que no, que el único que tiene aquí capacidad de esquivar balas soy yo. ¿Y ahora? Explora la cueva. Ah, va. ¿Habéis visto que no se mueren? A ese le he dado. Ah, vale. Vamos, esto prácticamente son contratos. El juego este de el Sniper Elite Contras o el Hitman Contras, eso simplemente. Entras, haces una misión, matas a un par de gente, te cargas al que tienes que cazar, por decirlo así, y ya está.
How big was this cave?
Big as hell, Ben. Chiricahua had hid out there.
Le he dado a él.
They thought it was haunted with the ghosts of those murdered by the horse soldiers.
The cave was haunted with dead Indian ghosts?
Le he dado la S.
To be honest, I was more concerned with the live ones than the dead ones.
Le había dado la S, pero venga, vale. La W, la D. Vale, ahora ahí me he equivocado. Ahí me he equivocado yo. Que si esta gente solamente viniese normal, pues de puta madre.
How come you know so much about engines?
A few years back, I was married to 2 Mescalero women.
At the same time?
Yeah, they were sisters. Polygyny is traditional among the Mescalero.
So what happened?
Oh, I had to get out of there. Those girls never shut up. Both of them nagging at me all the time. Drove me half crazy.
Me va a tocar pelear aquí.
Since. I came upon this flooded grotto, and that's when I saw him. He came to me unarmed and unafraid. His voice echoed in the shadows. And I sensed he meant me no harm.
You carry great darkness in your heart, and if you do not release it, it will claim your soul.
The sound of his voice put some kind of ancient Indian spell on me.
¿Cómo?
As his story unfolded in my mind. You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. soul would have no rainbow if the eye had no tears.
He said I was a great warrior, a coyote man, unequaled by any other pale-faced warrior, or something like that.
The snakes will bite shadows of your past until a venom poisons your heart and an echo of the
Me
song
ponen
of the
texto ahí en
dead
toda la
summons the
pantalla, ¿no
spirits
ves?
deep from within the mountains.
I didn't quite get what he was saying, but there was definitely snakes.
Joder, cuesta la vida apuntar, ¿eh?
And indeed, his warriors surrounded me and attacked me like hungry wolverines. They couldn't stop me, though, and Grey Wolf wasn't in the mood for idle talk.
Tiene el juego una manía de quitarme las... el rifle este que llevo. No entiendo los disparos yo en este juego.
I swear I couldn't see any way out of this trap.
No puedo salir de
And
aquí.
suddenly, one just appeared, kind of like a miracle.
Magia. Vale, me va a tocar enfrentarme al pavo este.
I felt like I would be lost in that damn cave forever. Finally, I found myself back outside, perched on the edge of a precipice, overlooking a thundering whitewater river. To get where I was going required several leaps of faith, but no way in hell I was turning back. I chased after him, determined to make him explain the meaning
Vale,
of all that
está hecho para que le
mumbo-jumbo.
persiga.
Mumbo Jumbo's right. Are you making this all up as you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened to me. There were dozens of Apache warriors aiming at me from on high.
Esto está hecho para que le persiga.
Dozens.
Well, maybe not dozens, but there was a lot of them.
At least 3 or 4.
Well, more than that, little lady.
Está hecho, vamos, pero 100%, pero para que le persigas, ¿eh?
I had a steep climb up creek ahead of me and scrambled up those rocks like a mountain goat. I was determined to locate Grey Wolf and find out
No
exactly
le voy a
what
hacer
the
nada
hell he
hasta que
was trying
lleguemos
to
a
tell
una
me.
zona.
And wouldn't
Esta,
you
por
know
ejemplo.
it, that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap.
What kind of trap?
Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches surrounded.
100?
God be my witness.
Oh, come on. Who are you kidding?
Hey, I believe you. Come on, tell us how it
Ah, y
ended.
luego resulta que al
All
final
right,
esto lo
but
estás
I'm not
contando
gonna
desde la
drag
cárcel,
this
¿te
out.
imaginas?
Where were we?
You were surrounded by 100 Apache warriors.
Well, I didn't take the time to count them exactly, but there were a lot of them.
Bueno, si mientras que vengan con el hachita. No hay problema. Los que empiezan a dar por culo son estos ya.
And in the end, a path appeared before me that I had
Madre
not
mía, pues
seen
¿por qué he tirado
before.
eso ahí, si no? Yo creo que me hubiese muerto ahí.
I followed it
Ah,
as I
tengo que
desperately
capturarle.
needed to
No tengo
find
que
out
matarle.
what Grey Wolf was trying
Pues
to
nada,
tell me.
disparo, la pierdo.
But it was like that son of a bitch disappeared into thin air.
Ahí va. Es rayada, ¿no? Está transformado.
Never did find him. And never did. Thank you, darling. It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem
Continuemos.
malleable, depending upon your point of view.
Like how those dime novels make you out to be something you're not?
Jack, don't be starting trouble.
No, he's right. They do tend to exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand.
Oh, capítulo 6 ya.
Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains clear across the territory. Until Coffeeville, of course. I was one of the citizens who took up arms that day.
Fighting on the side of right?
I did my best, sir. We all did.
Pues venga. Capítulos 6, 7, 8 y 9. Nos quedan 4.
It was early morning. One of my friends was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one. You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob 2 banks at the same time.
Ah, que
2
me acabamos de
banks
robar un
on the
banco.
same damn street. Story was Bob Dalton's girl was always writing him about how he had no
Vamos, si
ambition.
hay que escapar, ¿qué hacemos?
Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off.
Put some holes in it!
Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property.
Hay que capturar a Dalton. ¿Dalton? Hombre, me da tiempo de sobra.
Brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so
Ah,
I know
tomar
for
por
a
culo el
fact
mando
it
de
went
la-
down very differently.
De Xbox.
First of all, it was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months. Now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll do that eventually. We just gotta wait for some
Ah,
bitches
ya
out.
están.
This
Muertos.
bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns.
Creo que faltaba, ¿eh? Venga ya. Jesús, hasta que le da la puta bala.
He went in there alone to confront those criminals. One of the marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
Hasta que le han dado todas las balas me he podido morir 7 veces.
He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank. Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting.
Voy a decir, no debería aparecer gente porque si están ahí enfrentándose adelante aquí no debería aparecer nadie.
Fortunately, a water tower was right there. A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did. It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
We've got company!
Heroic men like him, who did what other men couldn't.
Me encanta lo de la
to
cámara
make this
lenta.
country
Es
free.
brutalísimo, macho, lo de la cámara lenta.
Is that
Jim
Silas
Booth,
Greaves?
Davy Crockett,
Son of a
died
bitch!
defending the Alamo.
Acá. Madre mía, 3 tiros para... A otros los mata súper rápido, a otros los mata súper despacio.
Look what we got here!
Secreto.
Over there!
Manía con quitarme ese arma, macho.
That's Silas Greaves.
What the hell?
Bland! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons. name?
Me encanta hacer la misma
Silas
misión 2
Greaves.
veces.
And
Es
when the dust
maravilloso.
finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened.
Otra vez.
It was early evening, not high noon. The Daltons blew up a safe, and were all set to hightail it out of there. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies.
Otra vez hacer lo mismo. Otra vez hacer la misma misión. Menudo coñazo. Los separos Dalton. Me recuerda a la serie esa de dibujos que había.
Waiting for them to do something reckless. Finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. They still had friends in Coffeeville.
Y ahora esta gente con vida.
Those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions. I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose them. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did.
¿Esta textura?
To top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was
No le veo.
the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons. They were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons, which wasn't any surprise, because those 2 families have been feuding forever.
¿Ya?
And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds and cats caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeeville. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens.
¿Los Dalton?
The Dalton boys knew I would never give up.
Menos mal que consigues munición, si no.
Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least 2 of them to escape. The 3rd brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't
¿Cómo
work.
paso por aquí sin que me dé un puto tronco, tío? Que me estoy quedando pillado. Y no sé en qué me estoy quedando pillado. Estos tronquitos estos, macho.
It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Greaves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
Mal pavo con una escopeta, ¿sabes?
Gonna beat you like a red-headed stepchild.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeeville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him?
Venga, ahora otra historia.
But
Ah,
I
no,
have to
vale,
admit,
menos mal.
that boy had grit.
Quiero decir, lo que me faltaba, todo es lo mismo, ¿sabes? Me está entrando el sueño jugando a
It
este
took me
juego.
a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this.
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
Encuentra los datos y la ciudad inundada.
They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws. But as we headed into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
Un compañero.
It was early fall, right? Beautiful time of year. At least you had the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell. It was tough to stay on a true course. So we kept an eye out for landmarks. It was autumn.
Tiene que estar por
The
aquí.
trees were in full color, red as blood.
Y aparece un árbol de la nada. Bien.
The rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded. The vigilantes had spread out wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
No, no, hace ruido de agua, pero ya está.
Let 'em where they stand.
Except for some bitches ahead of me wanting to do me harm. So I had to face them alone.
Vale, yo creo que hay que seguirla a esta roja.
I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
A ver, que tiene que ser casi un camino recto.
So did you find the Daltons?
Not yet, but I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends.
¿Ya? ¿Alguno más?
The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their cause.
La cuerda esta roja sigue por aquí.
Point being, I was under serious attack.
Para adelante no podía ir porque tenía ese pavo. Para atrás tampoco porque tenía la mierda de la dinamita. Conclusión, muerto. Me he cargado al de... Es el que quería cargar. Si está escondido entre la maleza no le ve. Por favor, que no vengan más.
But luckily, a barn materialized as if right before my eyes.
Me encanta porque parecen cosas de la nada. Maravilloso. Gentecilla.
But just ended up falling inside.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running through the bushes. Of course, I followed them.
Encontré el camino por el pantano.
The goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea
Yo voy
where
a seguir
I
las
was.
cosas estas rojas y ya está,
Steve,
Ah, vale, que está dormido lo otro y voy a decir...
so I just started
Esta es
walking,
rueca aquí,
and pretty
¿sabes?
soon... Steve! Steve!
Huh? Oh, no, I'm listening.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
Vale, el camino va por ahí.
They were Indians.
No.
Jesús con las
I just
paradas,
wanted to
tío.
make
Vaya
sure
coñazo
Steve
de
was paying
fuego con las
attention.
paradas así que de
Now,
repente
where was I?
te corta todo el
You were
rollo, macho.
following the Daltons through a swamp?
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
No, I'm listening. I was just...
Vaya
resting
un
my
cortarrollos que es este juego.
So, where was I?
Coño, estoy disparando. No,
Right.
Stop that, son of a-
There's a reason so many outlaws.
estoy disparando y de
gangs
repente...
hate brothers.
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet, but I did find a few of their cousins. You cans breed like rabbits. More Smiths or Heimhoffers or who knows what. But hell, what's more important than family? I bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
You're dead.
Vale, pone por aquí, pues para allí. Todo para encontrar supuestamente al último de los Dalton, ¿no? Menos mal que puedes cancelar la recarga, tío. Vamos, ahora, tío. Son un poco tochos algunos aquí, ¿eh? Mira. Vale, quiero subir ahí arriba. Menos mal que dentro de lo que cabe apunto más o menos bien, pero...
I knew those Dalton boys were out there somewhere, standing together against anyone who would threaten them.
Sí, pero... Ah, vale, para allá. Indica la flecha esta para allá. Te pueden poner un marcador, porque al fin y al cabo lo ves igual, pero bueno.
And that's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
A flote, manda un loco.
In a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps?
Guess it floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high, and those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found.
Pues habrá que apuntar bien.
But among those men that were shooting at me, I thought I saw some familiar faces.
Es que no les veo, macho. Hay veces que el marcador ese, ¿vale? El marcador ese blanco que apunta se pone en rojo, pero no les hago ningún tipo de daño. Que es lo que no entiendo. ¿Veis? Que se pone rojo.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
No puedo simplemente saltar. Aquí nos enfrentaremos al último Dalton, ¿no? Ah, vale, que es compañero.
Much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit. Huh? But it turned out that they had me.
Take him out!
Vaya,
I'm sending you to hell!
Daltons had played me like a fiddle. Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Yeah, but I was in a fight.
About that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
You're talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed big. I don't think it'll even float.
So anyway,
Eso es lo que tarda en subir las escaleras.
Steve, they know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
oh God.
But getting back to that steamboat, how did you get off it, Mr. Freeze?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. It was time to settle this once and for all.
Pasó con la ametralladora mientras que se está quemando el barco atrás. Por lo que veo no tiene sobrecalentamiento ni nada, ¿no?
Bob and Grat weren't about to come at me one at a time. They were in this together.
¿Ya? ¿Con esto pasaríamos el capítulo?
Side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
Le he dado a la A para esquivar la bala, tío. Es que es acojonante este juego, macho.
They got it wrong.
Lo hemos hecho
Sad
rápido.
end for those
Y
two.
encima lo hemos hecho con
If they'd
honor.
only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds. Paroled 14 years later. He moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers.
Maravilloso. ¿Tengo habilidades? Sí. Vale. Saquea dinamita. Mira si los enemigos guardan algún regalo explosivo. Armas cargadas en concentración. Los combos dan concentración. Sí. Bueno, esta de marfil. Ahora me quedaría la de... Me quedaría esta, ¿verdad? Es el fusil, ¿no? Fusil dorado. Vale, me quedaría simplemente mejorar esto. Pero bueno, creo que no nos va a dar para mucho. Porque si entramos en el capítulo 7...
My
Pa'
own
mucho no
brothers
nos va a dar.
died tragically as well, truth be told.
Episodio 7, ¿ves?
It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy.
Boy. Como diría...
Well, those horses
Grato.
bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
Pues nada, pues otro capítulo más.
I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains.
A ver, persigue al grupo salvaje.
Led by Butch Cassidy. They were a loose association of
Bonito se
outlaws
ve,
who robbed
eso hay que
banks
decirlo,
and trains from Colorado
Que va a
to
ser un juego del
Montana. Among them was the
2009,
Sundance Kid. That murderous hombre I
2008-2009,
was
se ve
tracking,
bastante bien.
Roscoe Bob Bryant. They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
Se ve bastante bien.
My ears are still ringing from blowing up that bridge. What'd you say?
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them.
No, iba a decir, no sé qué
From
pasa.
there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. But first, I would need to get my ass out of there.
Y...
I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados. Outside, inside, any way I
cámara
could,
lenta.
I made my way towards my prey.
Well, what about the passenger?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard
What?
that
¿Qué ha
day.
pasado aquí? Madre mía, estoy viendo la repetición y es que yo flipo con los disparos de este juego.
That asshole just killed Red?
Yo flipo con los disparos de este juego, en serio.
As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights. But I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death.
Bueno, esto no puedo.
Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway. So I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could.
Que si me pone los pavos en la
It was
cara.
like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back.
Lo mismo lo he liado.
I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a
You
hand.
mean like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about? Did they come
Oh,
riding in,
Dios, qué asco me
guns
da
ablazing
esto.
to help?
Venga. Jesús, qué decente, ¿no? Gran cuadrilla contra el grupo salvaje.
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the Wild Bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
Who the hell is that? Take cover! Retreat! Retreat!
Pensaba que se iban ahí.
Killing everybody! Hell's a coming! Kill us all!
mía, como no le des a ese pavo en la cara, te mueres, Barbaridad lo del...
I
Toda la
guess his
mierda,
old-time novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they? Only a few stragglers were left, and I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on old Bob's trail.
Hombre, con una Gatling de estas, lo mismo ganas ya, ¿sabes? Da igual el que venga. No puedo morirme. Más que nada porque no puedo hacer nada aquí. Tardado, hasta que ha explotado.
Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nosed Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that.
Es que es la putísima polla, tío. Es que no puedo con este juego. Es que es brutalísimo. Es que es brutalísimo. Joder, es que se mueve la mierda de esta del ratón. O sea, no podéis hacer una barbaridad lo que se mueve. Otra vez lo mismo. Es que no. Es que es acojonante, tío. Otra vez lo mismo. Toma por culo, me da igual lo del deshonro, Lo de ser deshonroso me la suda muy fuerte. Quiero pasarme este juego y ya está. Ese es mi único objetivo que tengo ahora.
They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
Habrá un trofeo seguramente para sacarse todas las muertes estas de forma honrada. Pero me la suda bastante, ¿vale? Literalmente. O sea, es que ni me voy a molestar. Por cierto, es verdad, ha salido el Minecraft Dungeons, la última expansión, la del inframundo, que es la última, ¿vale? Así que en cuanto a eso... Bueno, en cuanto a eso, en cuanto me pase este y un par de juegos más, vamos a pasarnos el Minecraft Dungeons otra vez, Pero a tope, además. Porque creo que el último DLC, que es el de Len, no sé si ha salido ya. O sea, me refiero, no sé si ha salido ya a la venta o no. Yo no tengo ningún problema porque lo tengo en el Game Pass de Xbox, así que no me preocupa. Toma pa' vosotros. Está guapa la dinamita. Puedes disparar desde 500 metros.
Old Bob wasn't among
vale,
them.
¿y ahora?
Neither was Kid Curry. I could sense him close by, however, plotting something nasty. I just needed a clue as to their whereabouts.
¿Y ahora? ¿A dónde voy? Busca pistas sobre el paradero de la...
And I found one. A map with their bold plan clearly marked. This time they were fixing to blow up a train trestle. property of the Union Pacific.
Me encanta porque haces una parte y luego haces la misma parte pero viéndolo de otra manera diferente, ¿sabes? Es como una cosa muy
The plan clearly
random.
indicated how they were fixing to undermine several of the weakest wooden supports.
Impide que la
Kid
banda vuele
Curry
el
was
puente.
considered the wildest of the wild bunch. It was said that he
Pero
fathered
tengo que...
85
Ah, vale, iba a decir, tengo que ir hasta allí. Digo,
bastard
si tengo que
children,
disparar en
though
plan
some say it was
francotirador
only
para adelante.
5.
Tengo que impedir que la
Kid
banda
Curry had
pete
bragged
esto.
to a whore how he was
No.
going to rob a train heading to the U.S. Mint in Denver.
He movido más de la cuenta hacia la derecha.
Kid Curry had bragged to a whore how he was going to rob a train heading to the U.S. Mint in Denver. And that whore,
Me he movido
Fat
más
Sally,
hacia la
she
derecha de
told
lo
me.
que te vi.
The bridge was rigged with dynamite, so I decided I'd best be careful confronting those bastards.
Ay, iba a decir...
A moment later, I saw a ladder that somehow had escaped my attention.
Vi una escalera, no has visto la escalera, ha aparecido la escalera de repente.
But the wild bunch did not take kindly to my presence. and
Bastante guay la
attempted to
física
blow
de la
my head
dinamita.
off. It appeared the kid had found a number of new recruits to bolster their ranks. Yes, there's always desperate men willing to trade their lives for stolen treasure.
What happened
Bastante
next?
guay la
Well,
física de la
having
dinamita.
removed the first bundle of dynamite, I decided I might as well remove the other one. Once that was done, I figured I'd find my way from there.
Ah, vale, la F es mi ataque cuerpo a cuerpo. No me acuerdo. En serio, tío, 25 veces que le he disparado y no le ha dado ni una bala. En serio, lo digo en serio, no sé... O sea, por favor, jugad a este juego. Y luego me decís, cuando disparéis, y digas, le he dado. Y digas, no, no le he dado. Porque la detección del juego es muy
It
extraña.
must have been terrifying trying to make your way across.
I was sweating it a bit, but then I noticed a footbridge tied up on high, so I shot the rope.
Pero literalmente lo vais a decir, pero si le he dado.
All the dynamite?
Funny you should mention that, darling. As actually there was a fourth charge impeding my progress.
En
Once I
teoría ya he
removed it,
desactivado
my
todos los del
path was
ferrocarril,
pretty
¿no?
clear.
Que un disparo de estos a la cabeza tiene que doler, ¿sabes?
So I proceeded onward. I realized that that way just wasn't going to work. I needed an
No me
alternate
fío.
path forward.
Jesús, se me está poniendo un dolor de cabeza. Pero como si me fuese la puta vida en ello, ¿Y ahora? Busca un camino... ¿Cómo? Ah, va. Llegaba de sobra, no hacía falta hacer esa animación ahí, pero...
Luckily, I found a cave, and as I made my way back to the bridge, I saw something that concerned me. It was a long burning fuse, and it was moving fast as hell. I had to catch it. The burning fuse was so damn quick, I had to run like the wind. I almost had it, but no. Thought I was gonna have a coronary when I lost sight of those sparks. My heart was pounding like a sledgehammer. I knew that failure meant boom. Then, finally, at the last moment. Whew. Of course, I was successful. Clearly, I wouldn't be talking to you folks here today. Naturally, I removed the last dynamite charge. Well, it was a touching reunion. But by this time, I was thoroughly exhausted and dragging my ass as I was not a young man anymore.
Ah, bueno, hostia, es verdad. Tengo el Dying Light 2 ya comprado. Le tengo allí para jugarlo en Play 5. Y ahora, en cuanto acabe este directo, voy a ir a por el... Voy a comprar el Far Cry 6 también, para ya dejarlo comprado. Y ya el único que me falta es el Horizon, pero el Horizon lo han... Joder. El Horizon lo han retrasado hasta 2022. Sí, por favor, mátame. El Horizon Forbidden West lo retrasan a 2022. Pero bueno, al menos el Dying Light 2 y el Far Cry 6 los tengo literalmente ya comprados. Ya digo, menos el Far Cry 6, que lo voy a comprar ahora mismo. No sé, tío, a ese le he disparado 2 veces ya. Así que, pues eso. Y el Far Cry 6, pues nada, yo compraré la versión de Play 5 y Play 4. Aunque yo la versión que voy a jugar obviamente es la de Play 5. Porque si no, menuda gracia. Va a ser un descojone el Far Cry 6. Va a ser una putísima locura. Va a ser una putísima locura el Far Cry 6. Bueno, y el Dying Light 2 ya ni os cuento. El Dying Light 2 va a ser divertido. Porque como lo voy a jugar con mi señora Mal y con supuestamente Raleo, que no sé cuántas veces habrá cambiado de nombre ya. Voy a tener que llegar hasta allí, ¿no? ¿Cómo quiere el juego que me lo cargue? Si no puedo llegar hasta allí. ¿Qué le tiro? ¿Una granada de estas? Me tengo que cargar así. Creo que he visto a alguien ahí. No sé cómo darle. No sé si le estoy dando. ¿Le estoy dando? No. A través de ahí no le puedo dar.
Luckily, I had located some dynamite. I still, however, had my work cut out for me.
Pues a dinamitazo.
Eventually, I brought that tunnel
¿Dónde te crees
down.
que vas tú? Son mierdas.
And that's when I met Kid Curry himself. He had decided to stop pussyfooting around and deal with me personally.
No, quiere coger dinamita. Jesús. Que no se ha muerto el pavo, loco.
As fast as he was, I was just a bit faster.
A tu puta casa.
And as he lay wounded, I demanded to know the whereabouts of Roscoe Bob Bryant. He shouted at me. Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch and Sundance to South America.
Yo pensaba que este juego iba a ser más rollo como un Call of Duty o algo así, no así tan... bestia, por decirlo así. Pero bueno.
Those were his last words.
Pues me he hecho una herida justamente en lo que viene a ser la punta de la nariz por dentro. Que Jesús bendito que me está doliendo la vida. Hombre, esto a unas malas me da esto. Espérate, ¿podemos poner unos puntitos? Con la aplicación esta que tengo yo aquí. A ver. Es que si no podemos poner puntitos, nos lo subimos todo de golpe. ¿Está disponible? Sí. Unlimited skill point. Limited ammo, no reload, infinite dynamite. No, a mí lo que me interesa simplemente son los puntos. Vale, un segundo. Habilidades. No tengo puntos infinitos. Vaya por Dios. A lo mejor tengo que hacer una misión para que me den puntos infinitos. Bueno, yo lo voy a dejar ahí, ¿vale? Total.
So, Bob Bryant got away?
Sí, no sé, realmente activo esto no sé para qué. Si vamos a acabar prácticamente en cuestión
What
de...
about the other killer?
Yeah, you kinda glossed over that one.
Well, I found Jim not long after my showdown with Ringo. At the time, he was riding with the James Younger gang. Did I neglect to mention that?
Episodio 8. 8 y 9, ya está. Hemos
Jesse
terminado.
James? The greatest outlaw who ever lived?
Jesse and his kin rode with Quantrill when he raided Lawrence, Kansas, and killed near 200 people, boy.
Nothing great about that.
And from there, him and his brother went on to rob banks and trains from Kansas to Missouri.
Which is why there was such a rich bounty on their heads. 40 grand for both of them, dead or alive. That's one hell of a payday.
Maravillosa jugada. Venga. A ver si lo terminamos. Es que me tengo que ir, que luego tengo...
I confronted them as they were robbing a train. Bullets were flying at me from every which way. But I knew I'd have to fight my way forward if I was gonna find this Jim.
Vamos a ir con esta, por cambiar un poco, ¿no? Pavo tochísimo. Ah, toma por culo el tochísimo.
Now wait a second. Now, how'd they stop this train in the first place?
Otra
The
vez
James
para...
boys were experts at this.
Ay. Venga, otra vez desde el principio. Jesse James. Me va a tocar cargármelo en duelo. Yo quiero cargármelo en plan un balazo en la boca.
There was a big payroll in the express safe, so I hopped the same train.
Le he dado a la S, pero venga, vale.
The James Younger gang was decimated after that little fiasco they had in Northfield, Minnesota. So Jesse needed more men and took
Le había
on
dado
the
la
killer
S,
I
pero
was
venga,
after,
vale. El juego ha
along
dicho
with
que
a
no.
host of
Así que...
others. I was hoping to find my man and put a bullet in his head.
Iba a decir, creo que hay otro allí, pero no lo veo.
Swallowed 100 damn bugs before I
The
reached
James
that.
Younger gang pulled the first train robbery west of the Mississippi.
Sounds like you hold them in high regard.
Voy a recargar
Everyone
todo, por
knows
si
they were the
acaso.
most famous outlaw gang ever.
And you took them all on by your lonesome. Again. I'm finding this all a little hard to swallow, friend.
Well, maybe you need to wash it down with some whiskey. By the way, did I mention that that train was flying down those tracks like a bat out of hell?
Disparar a la dinámica en el aire es horroroso, A no ser que vaya con la concentración. Como no vaya con la cámara lenta esa... Lo mismo no lo aciertas nunca,
Anyway, excuse me, Ben. Where would I find the gentleman's facilities?
Yo creo que cada vez me
Suddenly I
cambia
have
el
an
fusil,
urgent need to drain my one-eyed snake.
Porque no es normal que cada vez
Well,
tarde
I've
más.
had more than a few drinks, and I've been sitting here for quite a spell.
Right through there. Let me show you.
Caballo.
I never heard so much malarkey in my life.
You think he's
Qué raro que no haya
bullshitting
gente aquí.
us?
Espérate, ¿esto no es
You
lo
don't
mismo?
think he's Silas Greaves?
I think he's just some old drunk looking for some free liquor.
I don't know, Jack. I think I believe him. You don't think he met Jesse James?
Boy, you gotta be kidding me.
Creo que
That story
estamos
makes no sense at
prácticamente
all.
volviendo hacia
You gotta
atrás.
be two bricks short of a load to believe that cock and bull story.
I don't agree.
Jack, lay off the
But
bar.
you seriously think that tired old man went toe to toe with
A no
Jesse
ser que todos
James?
sean así iguales.
Well, that's better. Did I mention that this Jim was married to the infamous Belle Star? Of course, I didn't learn that until later. Anyway, I made my way forward the best I could. Around the sides, over the roof. At some point, some bitch saw me and shouted out, "It's the damn Pinkertons!"
No. Me encanta que esquivas balas, o sea, como si fueses
Now,
Matrix
I
de
never
repente.
worked for that limey cocksucker, but I guess they assumed I was one of his assassins.
Madre mía, tío, es que le doy, mira. Le he dado. Le he dado la bala, pero se la pasa por el mismísimo forro la bala. Es que es acojonante. ¿Dónde estoy? Espérate, ¿es para allá? No, esto es fondo, Pero... Ah, vale. Me estaba rayando, digo, ¿y ahora? Me he partido la rodilla. Le he disparado a este 2 veces. Es que solo... en serio. O sea, me parece exageradísimo lo del... Lo de que no les des más.
I came across a flat car piled high with logs and had to come up with a creative way to make my way forward. I wondered if I was ever going to find the front of that train, or the bastard I was after. Jesse hired a damn army after Northfield. Guess he didn't want to be outgunned like that ever again. Right about then, I was attacked by some asshole on a Gatling gun.
Yeah, seems like you run into a lot of them.
Asshole?
Gatling guns.
La de
Yes, I
marfil.
did. Now, I don't remember how I took it out. It was either a bullet or dynamite.
Where would you find dynamite?
Does it really matter, Jack? You're messing with the flow of the story here.
Chico, o sea, no lo sé, tío. Yo aprieto botones del teclado y no funciona aquí nada. Aprieto el botón del Shift y no corre. Es desesperante este juego en ciertos puntos, Es desesperante porque no tiene sentido que un pavo aguante 25 disparos. ¿Por qué? No voy a preguntar nada. No voy a preguntar ni siquiera qué ocurrido. Si disparo ahí, le da. Ah, ahí sí. Vaya, tío. Ahora sí. Total, si para una misión que nos queda... Para una misión que nos queda realmente... Vamos a ir a tope ya directamente. Escopeta dorada, escopeta plateada... Todo esto es escopeta, ¿no? Todo esto son revólveres y todo engarzado, grabado. Yo no sé cuál es mejor y cuál es peor. Madre mía, 2 horas para disparar, es que es acojonante. Bueno, ¿cuánta gente hay aquí? queda sin balas en mitad de la nada. Como yo disparo y oigo disparos, pienso que estoy disparando hasta que me doy cuenta. Colega, te he dado 2 disparos, es que es acojonante. Me recarga bastante rápido, eso hay que decirlo. ¡No! ¿Pero por qué? Si le he dado a la D. Le he dado a la D, ¿por qué se va hacia el otro lado? Tío, esto cada vez me parece más surrealista este juego, en serio. Tío, luego le metes disparos y no se muere, macho. No, quiero el otro. ¿Cuál es? ¿Este? No es que tengo un montón de balas de esto, porque como la pistola no la uso apenas. No entiendo por qué el de allí no se muere, macho.
I was looking for Jim and shooting any son of a bitch stupid enough to get in my way.
Que de cosas, pero de eso no
And
tengo
that
nada.
included Jesse James himself.
Vale, aquí no hay nadie.
There sure were a lot of men determined to die that day.
A ver, que las dobles pistolas molan un huevo. Hay que decirlo,
It was then that Jesse detached the express car from the rest of the damn train.
Es surrealista este juego. ¿Qué me ha dado? Pregunto. ¿Qué me ha dado para morir? ¿Qué me ha dado? Porque yo acá estoy viendo ahora mismo la repetición y no veo que me haya dado nada. Pero venga, vale. Según el juego me ha dado algo. Tío, estoy perfectamente colocado para que no me dé. Te juro que, en serio, le estoy cogiendo más asco a este juego que a todos los Call of Duty juntos.
I could see Jesse waiting for me, fixing to kill me so he could get away with all that money.
Pero está on fire esto. No me digas más, un duelo.
You had a showdown with Jesse James?
Of course he didn't. Everybody knows that Jesse was killed by Bob Ford.
Yeah. Jesse went out like John Wesley Hardin. Coward shot him in the back of the head.
Guess it doesn't matter how far you run, does it, Ben? Your past always catches up with you. Yeah, I didn't kill Jesse James.
Me da igual.
Just wounded him
Quiero
bad
acabar
enough
este
to
juego
convince
ya.
him to hang up his guns.
What about that Jim fella? What happened to him?
I figure he was up front with a gun to the engineer's head. That bastard slipped away again. I'll tell you how I got him. But first I need to wet my whistle.
Que me da igual. Vale, me imagino que quedará este nivel y el capítulo 9. Y ya está. Yo dije más o menos 2 horas, así que... Me lo podía haber pasado del tirón.
I continued to track his brother, Frank and that son of a bitch Jim. I followed those bastards into the high mountains as they were going to ground.
Que prefiero el fusil. Aquí en este juego prefiero más el fusil que la pistola.
Perfect place to hide out from the authorities. In fact, before I could find them, some Indians who fled the res and were hiding out from the military found me first. They probably thought I was a cavalry scout and didn't want me telling the military where they were.
Indians?
Yeah, they could have been Cheyenne, but there was all sorts of renegades roaming the landscape.
Venga, por Dios. A ver si acabamos ya. No porque quiera acabarle, sino porque quiero jugar a otras cosas, no por... O sea, no es porque quiera acabar... Joder, colega, macho. Esto es lo que más asco me da de los juegos, atascarme. Que es simplemente por jugar a otras cosas, no por una NFT.
Now where was I? Indians, right? I had more than my share of run-ins with the red man. Like that time. Did I tell you about Grey Wolf?
Yes, sir. You did.
Of course I did. In fact, I can still remember that old medicine man's words to me.
Jesus Christ, we're back to that again.
You carry great darkness in your
Esta zona me suena.
It will claim your soul.
Antes, ¿no os acordáis aquí? Cuando peleaba con un montón de ellos.
This place again. And kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything you are.
¿Ves? La parte esta. ¿Por qué ahora me disparan 40 balas a la vez?
Like that time. Did I tell you about Grey Wolf?
Yes, sir. You did.
Of course I did. In fact, I could still remember that old medicine man's words to me.
Jesus Christ, we're back to that again.
You carry great darkness in your heart. It will claim your soul. You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything you are.
So, did you ever find him? The man you were after?
Let me ask you something, Ben. You ever think about death?
Mr. Greaves, are you all right?
Ooh, death.
No puedo correr ahora.
Oh, death, won't you spare me over till another year? What is this that I can't see?
O sea, qué bonito.
With ice cold hand
Esto es muy bonito,
taking hold of me.
Realmente de Ubisoft nunca me puedo quejar de los mapas porque siempre los hacen muy bonitos, ¿no? El Far Cry 6, lo que se ha visto de gameplay, se ve espectacular. Pedrolos y encima no puedo correr. ¿Qué me esconder aquí? Y me matará seguramente alguno.
So, are you gonna answer the question?
What question is that?
Jim Reed. Did you ever find him?
Reed was indeed that son bitch's surname. That's right, Ben. A despicable character. I remember him laughing like a hyena that cold morning they lynched me and my brothers. He was intent on avoiding my vengeance, but nothing was gonna stop me. Nothing.
Oh, wow. Sí, eso, cuando está lejos. Frank James. A tope. ¿Me lo puedo cargar desde aquí? En plan distancia. No, ¿verdad? Llega a la cima esquivando las balas de los francotiradores.
They had long rifles with scopes and were well positioned to pick off any poor soul who came anywhere close.
Esquivo balas, ¿sabes? Tócate lo veo. Corriendo cuesta arriba.
I'm guessing Frank James believed I was responsible for the demise of his brother Jesse. I couldn't really disagree with the man, as I thought Jesse was dead then as well. He backed off as I closed in on him, but he was still intent on killing me. And when I closed in on him again, he backed off again, looking for a better angle on me. Hell, I can't fault Frank for wanting his revenge, as I was there for the same damn reason myself.
Isn't that why you were hunting the James gang?
Una vez me pasa, dos no.
Right. I finally found Frank holed up in his mountain cabin, and he was determined to have me dead. It was a pitched battle that could have gone either way. Luckily, I had some dynamite in my possession.
What? ¿Habéis visto la velocidad esa en la que se mueve? ¿Habéis visto qué velocidad se mueve?
It was a pitched battle that could have gone either way. Luckily, I had some dynamite in my possession.
Dynamite. On your person.
A few sticks, just in case. It's always good to be prepared.
Right.
I'm just laying out the facts as I remember them, Jack.
He's just one man. This is gonna work. Bastard dead.
Ready for a belly pop shot.
Debería simplemente morirse con eso.
Well, it went tumbling right off that cliff.
With Frank James still in it?
Yes, sir.
But Frank James is still alive, living in Missouri, showing folks around the family farm for 25 cents a tour.
I didn't say he died in the fall, now did I?
Ya está.
I'm done with this damnable outlaw life. Kill me, don't kill me, do what you will. At this point, I just don't give a shit.
I explained to Frank that I had nothing against him personally and that I was looking for someone else.
You want Reed? Have at him. I never did like that bastard. I am done here.
We parted in peace as Frank pointed out the path to my prey before making his way back down the hill.
No, vale, no te lo puedes matar. Pues me lo iba a cargar, digo, como me deje, me lo cargo.
So what happened with Reed?
Well, I finally found the last of the gang hiding in a nearby cave. First, I had to dispatch the lookout, as I was determined not to let that murderer escape my revenge again. But rather than wander in willy-nilly, I decided it would be better to smoke that sumbitch out. Hey, Reed!
200 balas necesitan, vamos.
No wonder you're so ornery. Can't be easy being married to Belle Starr.
Uy, no.
While you're off providing for the family, she's spreading her legs for every Tom, Dick, and Cole younger. Not an attractive woman exactly, but very friendly. At least she was to me.
Son of a bitch!
¿Dónde
It
está?
was then that the last bunch of bandits jumped out of hiding.
Why won't this asshole give up? Would someone please kill him?
Mira, el spawn infinito. El spawn infinito.
Eventually, it was just me and Reed.
No me jodas un duelo. Dios, qué asco, tío.
I
No quiero un
had
duelo,
waited a
quiero
long time to
cargármelo
face him
normal.
down, so I could repay him for what he did to my brothers. And repay him I did.
Ah, toma por. No quiero saber nada. Vale, en teoría vamos al capítulo 9, que me imagino que será alguna especie de epílogo. Deduzco.
Well, I don't know about you boys, but I'm pretty beat.
Well, it's too damn bad you never found that Bob character. Seems a shame you never had to pay.
Well, funny thing about that, I did have one more chance at him.
De vuelta al episodio 7. No me lo puedo creer, tío.
6 months ago, I heard that Butch and Sundance were back in the States and had gathered up some of their old gang. I tracked them down, hoping that Roscoe Bob
No me lo puedo
Ryan
creer
would
que
return
volvamos
with
ahora
it.
para atrás.
So you're saying they didn't die down in Bolivia?
That's what I'm saying.
Otra vez para atrás. Es que... brutal. Pues hasta que llamen a la puerta para decirme que nos vamos. Es lo que voy a jugar. Si luego hago un directo de 2 minutos, pues de 2 minutos.
Both Johnny Ringo and Jim Reed fell fairly quickly. But the last one, Roscoe Bob Ryan. That son of a bitch had managed to escape my vengeance time and time
Pero
again.
bueno,
I couldn't even be certain I'd recognize him after all those years. By now, he had to be close to 70.
mira si aparece gente.
For all you know, he could have been dead.
That thought had indeed crossed my mind. As did
Más
others.
vale que esto sea simplemente así un pequeño
For instance,
mini y directamente nos vayamos al 9. Es que luego no quiero hacer un directo de 10 minutos. ¿Sabes lo que quiero decir? Lo grabo, soy capaz de grabarlo y ya
my
está.
storied career, I had killed more men than Bob Bryant ever had. Nothing could stop me from taking his life. And after that killer forever. From the time I rode with Billy the Kid.
Vale, y ahora.
But that chapter of my
dicho
story
Billy
you
the Kid?
already know.
Chapter of that fairy tale,
Me
you
parto si me
mean?
tengo que cargar a ese, que al principio le ayudo.
Suddenly it was 1910. There I was, an old man roaming a ghost town dead almost 2 decades. The town was
Quiero
falling
llegar
apart,
simplemente a donde tengamos que ir y ya
just
está.
like me. But I wasn't about to call it
Ya
quits.
está muy guapo toda esta zona,
Even though the ghosts of my dead brothers were begging me to end what I started so long
Vale,
ago.
¿cómo llego allí?
Mr. Graves, are you all right? Would you like some water?
The Wild Bunch knew I was there. They were after a treasure they had hidden before they fled, buried in the grave of a dead amigo. Some folks think the town is haunted, so they figured there wouldn't be many people poking around. I intended to fill that grave with Bob Bryant's corpse.
¿Sabes cuál es lo gracioso? No he visto la dinamita, ni tirándola, ni llegando. Ahí sí. Lo que no sé es cómo salir de aquí. Ah, vale, que tienen que destrozar. Porque hay alguno que dura, o sea, que aguanta como 25 balas. Qué barbaridad. Vamos a ver, compañero, colega.
Actually, in that moment, I did not prevail. So I suppose
¿Quién
we're
está tirando la dinamita?
Funny you should put it like that, Jack.
¿Quién coño está tirando la dinamita, colega? Ah, viene bien. Pues hay un disparo y no se muere el macho. Ah, que simplemente tenía que aguantar y ya está.
Because when I woke up,
from the dead?
there was silence all around me. I could swear to God I saw Billy then.
Billy who?
Billy, the kid. William Bonney. He was shooting at me from a rooftop. Here, there, even over there.
So I am right. You are touched in the head.
Mr.
Pero
Graves,
Billy,
perhaps we
Billy,
should switch you
o
to
sea, Billy
coffee.
niño murió al
See that
principio,
old
¿verdad?
Indian
En la casa
again,
esa.
too?
No, but I did see Billy's killer, Patrick Floyd Garrett. He came at me guns ablaze. But I knew
ahora tengo que
that
matar
old war
fantasmas.
horse had died 2 years before.
Qué
I
bueno.
wondered if maybe I was dead too and confronting the ghosts of my past. Perhaps all my sins were coming back to haunt me and drag me down to perdition.
Estoy muerto. Que no veo. Y encima son blanquecinos, pues menos.
I saw Henry Plummer throw dynamite at me.
Peleando
In
con
the gates of the
fantasmas.
cemetery, I saw John Wesley Hart, just like I remembered him. Robert Ollinger appeared with his terrible double-barrel
Salgo
shotgun.
corriendo directamente.
No ghost army was stopping me.
My father-in-law got hit with a falling branch. He spent the rest of his life.
Newman Hayes Clanton, William Brocious, John Peters Ringo, they all wanted me dead.
Vaya por Dios. Que lo tiro. Vale, ya. Vale, o sea que ahora tengo que simplemente aguantar aquí, ¿no? Madre mía, colega, que te estoy dando.
The Dalton brothers, Robert and Grattan, guardians of the Garden of the Dead.
En serio.
George Curry and Harvey Logan, alias Kid Curry, both thirsty for vengeance from the great beyond.
¿Ya? Me quedo sin balas.
Jesse, Woodson, James, and Jim Reed, each one deader than the next. I thought I would go crazy.
Thought.
Joder, colega, es que con la mierda de las 25 disparos que tenía ahí en la pantalla no veía por dónde me venía la bala.
Brothers, Robert and Grattan, guardians of the Garden of the Dead. George Curry and Harvey Logan, alias Kid Curry, both thirsty for vengeance from the great beyond. Jesse, Woodson, James, and Jim Reed, each one deader than the next.
Es tan difícil, no te lo pasas. Pero vamos a ver, colega, si me disparas con la pistola izquierda, lo suyo que yo esquive... Con la pistola izquierda, lo suyo es que yo esquive hacia la derecha. No, hacia mi... Bueno, sería mi izquierda.
The Dalton brothers, Robert and Grattan,
Joder,
guardians of the
colega.
Garden of the Dead.
Y eso que me estoy moviendo,
George Curry and Harvey Logan, alias Kid Curry, both thirsty for vengeance from the great beyond. Jesse, Woodson, James, and Jim Reed, each one deader than the next.
¿Ya? No sé si con 3 balazos ya me he muerto, macho, ya no sé qué hacer. Otra vez.
Guardians of the Garden of the Dead. George Curry and Harvey Logan, alias Kid Curry, both thirsty for vengeance from the great beyond.
¿Qué, aparecen hoy o aparecen mañana?
Jesse, Woodson, James, and Jim Reed, each one deader than the next. I thought I would go crazy.
Thought.
Joder, macho.
Finally, I saw Harry Alonzo Longabaugh.
The Sundance Kid?
Like a general leading his legion of the dead.
You told us before that you
Bueno, venga, vale, este al menos es un humano ya.
He was alive.
mano que se sutunito con el pavo, ¿sabes?
Then I
¿Por qué
heard
le
a
hago tan
voice
poco
call
daño?
to me from afar. It was Robert Leroy Parker, a.k.a. Butch Cassidy, coming at me from out of the fog.
Thanks
¿Otro?
for taking care of that bastard.
Vamos, ¿podemos ir ya directamente al 9 o esto es el final del juego? Ah, bueno. Un duelo con estos dos pavos, claro.
But the kid wasn't quite deceased. Not yet.
Takes more than one little bullet to kill the likes of me, partner.
Those two looked like they hadn't seen each other for quite a while. Clearly, they were no longer amigos.
Shit. I was hoping I wouldn't have to kill you.
You won't have to, Butch. I'm killing you first.
I asked them about Bob Bryant, but they were too busy with their own heated conversation.
Let me get this shit straight. You want my money and the love of my life?
You frittered it all away, Butch.
Espero que este sea el final del
Anna's
juego.
mine. So is that damn money.
I didn't want to shoot anybody until I had an answer to my question, but those boys didn't give me much of a choice.
En los duelos a la mexicana usa Q u E para centrarte en el enemigo que te esté mirando. Ah, coño, no me acordaba que tenía que girar. Joder, es que esto es horroroso, tío. Es que los putos duelos en este juego son lo peor. Vale, tienes que mirarle para cargar la mierda esta. Ya
Butch
está.
Cassidy and the Sundance Kid died there in that cemetery not 6 months ago.
Jesús, qué asco de duelos, en serio. A mí me da igual matar. Final. Vale, ya está. Vale, vamos a acabar ya. Menos mal. Lo de los duelos no es que sea malo. En ningún momento he dicho que el juego sea malo.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid were killed by the Bolivian army.
Simplemente que hay
Everybody knows
ciertas
that.
cosas que a
That's
mí
the
no me
legend,
gustan.
but it ain't
Ya
the
está.
truth.
Pero eso no significa que el juego sea malo,
you never found Bob. There is no Bob. This old sumbitch ain't even Silas Greaves.
Sir, is that true? Have you been pulling our legs this whole time?
Well, not the whole time.
Oh man, I think you've worn out your welcome here.
Maybe you're right, Jack. Maybe it's time to pay. You see, Ben, or should I say Bob, your past always catches up with you.
I was a different man back then, crazy. Drinking, I've changed my ways, I swear to you. If I could turn back the clock,
But you can't, Bob.
Elige tu destino, venganza o redención, venganza. Disparo
Why'd
entre
you
ceja
toy
y
with
ceja.
me like that? Telling those tales, knowing all along. Why not just lay your cards on the table?
Here. I won't have it said that I left you with nothing.
That's how you want it? So be it.
Ahora me mata la primera.
Holy shit!
Right, Molly, move against that wall. Go!
Dios, aquí no hay ni el sistema ese. ¿Le matamos honradamente? ¿O sucio?
Oh my god! Oh Jesus!
No sé si le he matado honradamente, no sé si... no sé.
Did you know it was him all along?
Cassidy told me Bob was in Abilene before he died. But I wasn't sure Ben was my man until he revealed how much he knew about Ringo and Reed. The coin, of course. Well, that was the last nail in that particular coffin.
I better go get the sheriff.
You okay, boy? You're looking mighty shook up.
Dwight, maybe you best go home. Young Eisenhower here is leaving for West Point tomorrow. He shouldn't get caught up in something like this.
I think I might head out myself at this juncture. Unless you want to stop me, Jack.
No, sir, Mr. Greaves.
So where you going now? Now that you had your revenge?
Doesn't really matter, does it? As I've sold my soul for it, and will never again walk with those I have lost.
Molaría este juego en tercera persona, por curiosidad. Pero bueno. Pues acabó. Disponible el nuevo juego Plus. Empieza la historia conservando las armas y habilidades desbloqueadas. Está disponible la dificultad Oeste Real. Intenta superar la historia casi sin HUD y con más dificultad para vivir una experiencia western de verdad. Una polla como la manga de un abrigo. Así os lo digo. Pues nada más, amigos. Me voy, que son las 7:30 y... Casi que iban a entrar a la puerta. Así que pues nada, tengo aquí el Prince of Persia, el también del 2008-2009 que me lo quiero pasar. El Devil Within 2 y bueno, un par más de juegos por ahí que quiero hacer también un par de directos. Así que bueno, en fin. Voy a dejar resubiéndose esto y luego si eso, pues por la noche jugamos un rato. O sea, hago directo un rato. O no sé, ya veré lo que hago. Así que dependiendo de a la hora que vuelva, si no, pues mañana. Así que, vale pues.